What's up? What's up? What's up? I am back on Saturday evening. It is very busy on the live streams, but the What Now series continues. And today my guest is film director, writer, comedian, producer, Mr. Cole Wiley. And we're going to talk to him about how it is for him in the film industry, TV industry, basically all around entertainment industry, to see what the impact has been of all the shutdown and the pandemic for him. Waiting for him to jump on. Great to see people tuning in. It's going to be an interesting talk as well because this guy is like genius. I met him in LA last year, and it was a weird time for him, weird in a good sense. So I basically fell into one of his personal development periods, I guess. So he shared a lot of things that were personal to him, but also very good to know as a person working on your own personal development and progress. What's up, Michelle? Well, I just spoke to him, so he should be joining us soon. I'm very interested in the projects that he's working on right now and seeing what he's coming up with in these times, but also just his view overall on the entertainment industry, the film industry, and to see what his thoughts are on dealing with things in this time that we're living in right now. I hope he joins us soon. And hopefully it'll be a good talk before this whole battle between Teddy Riley and Babyface is going on tonight. So Pay won't be sleeping. I'm so tired of all these live streams. Not in a bad way, but yeah, it's just so much good stuff going on that I just keep jumping from stream to stream. It's the new TV, I guess. I don't even have TV. So for now, it's like watching TV live on your phone while I'm in bed because it's nighttime here. It's a weird time right now. Again, waiting on Cole to jump in. I gotta start practicing these monologues. I didn't have anything prepared. I had a good day today. I was actually outside driving in the car, so I had some fresh air. We saw rain for the first time in 5 weeks. It hasn't rained since this whole pandemic, when rain used to be our default weather, and now it's like, hey, rain, what's this, clouds? So it's been really nice out here, but I've also had a lot of frustration here with my neighbors since they're all throwing parties now that they think they're on vacation because they're home. And what I like to say is snitching saves lives at this point. So yeah, I'll be snitching to the cops because I don't need people spreading this infection and making people sick and killing people literally. Other than that, I've been staying creative and busy. I'm actually really tired. I was doing these talks every evening, and now I'm just like, nah, I can't do it every evening anymore. There's so many people that I want to talk to, and there's so many people that want to talk and share their thoughts. So, hey, there's Cole. So yeah, I'm fully booked till May. Let's see if I can get you in here. Yes. Alrighty. Oh, I'm hot. It's hot in here. Yay!
Hey,
Here.
we're alive here.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. I'm alive.
You're alive. We're all alive. Yes.
I'm alive, and I'm listening to Ram Dass.
Oh wow.
He's got an album
He's
that
got an
was
album.
released recently before his death.
Oh.
And they have this music, but he has like these kind of guided meditations or messages or songs, whatever you want to call them. It's really dope.
Right. Oh, that's good for this time.
Yeah, well, I discovered it literally like 6 months ago. And let's see, it came out in 2019. And then he passed away maybe like a couple months ago. There's 3 songs that are my favorite. It's a self-titled album. first track I really love is Nature. Then You're a Guru.
Okay.
And then I Am Loving Awareness.
Oh wow, that sounds what that last one sounds.
I'll
like
send you the
people
link.
Need
you have
it. Yeah.
Spotify?
Please, yes.
You have Spotify?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Who doesn't
I'll
at this time?
Some people use they use Apple Music or Tidal or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm Spotify.
That's true. Well, I got Spotify for the premium for free through my internet provider, so you know, it's just easy, and I use it in the car and everything, so it's just easy to navigate.
Easy.
So welcome to the talk.
Yeah.
I was just doing a little 3-minute monologue, and I have to really start getting better at this. When I'm waiting on people to jump in, I have no stuff to talk about. Like,
I feel that gap.
I have this really newfound respect for people that do monologues, and I have to say, about almost 20 years ago, I had a radio show by myself. So I was doing this all the time, and I'm sitting here like, hold on, how did I do this?
What happened? Why isn't it easy for you anymore?
I don't know. I guess I used to talk so much shit. I guess I don't talk shit anymore. I want to say something that actually.
Well, that's all you really got to do.
Yeah, it is. You just got to talk randomly. And I guess my life is not as interesting anymore as back in the day, because I had so much shit to talk about. And then especially now in this time, you don't really do anything. So.
Well, I also feel like when you get older, part of like the way things shift. Hold on. Sorry, I was warming up my coffee. Part of the way that things shift, you end up listening more than you want to talk.
Yes.
I'd rather listen than talk, because the only way that you learn is if you listen.
Very true.
We'll talk about that in a bit, because that's a rabbit hole if we start going down there.
Yeah, and so, well, the thing is, for me, so my background is music journalism, and I talk to people to get information, to get knowledge. It's also a skill. People often forget that it's more than just asking questions. It's asking the right questions and getting the right information that's valuable. Whether people take value out of it or not, that's neither here nor there, but that is my aim when I speak to people. And so I'm not used to doing monologues, because I feel like somebody else has stuff that's more valuable than me, maybe, unless somebody interviews me. I just don't want to interview myself, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody's asking you questions, you're fine answering them, but you don't necessarily feel that compulsion and just like, here, I just want to tell you all about me and what's on my mind. Yeah, it's
so much easier. And then, you know, when I was interviewing people, it used to be like transcribing the interview, and then it was audio, and then it became video. And I'm like, it's not for me being on camera, but people like to see two people interact rather than looking at one person talking to a camera. Or, you know, it's just, I honestly, when I'm in front of the camera, when I'm on stage doing interviews live and, you know, for audiences, I don't see it as me being up there. I'm having a person here, and it's not about me, it's about them. But if I'm the center, then I'm like, no, I can't do this.
Right. Well, you know, what's funny is that I in a way, I'm kind of the same. Like, you know, I've embarked upon this career, and for anybody that's in here that doesn't know me, like, I write, direct, produce content for film, television, digital, whatever. And mostly behind the camera stuff. Right? But there's been a transition in the last few years where I've been doing more on mic, on camera, performing. I'm talent now.
Right.
And even in the context of writing, directing, producing, like when you get into these meetings and before you get these jobs, people are expecting you to basically enthrall them.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, here, this is what I'm going to do. And and blah, blah, blah. So people are like expecting you to talk, but that's the thing, is like, I'd rather listen than talk.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that I've learned. And I've realized over time, I'm a storyteller. It's in my DNA. It's in my blood. My dad was a writer. He's a very prolific writer. He was the first Black writer of Sports Illustrated, which is a big deal at that time. It was the 80s. And wrote like maybe 9 or 10 books, wrote or co-wrote. And, you know, so I can tell a story. I come from a family that's just people that can just kind of rattle off. But what I've learned over time is to just choose your words wisely.
Yes. Well, that's what I mean with the talking shit. Like I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, no, I used to talk. I'm very good at talking shit.
I'm not good at it anymore. I lost my mojo.
Oh, I didn't lose, but I'm as good as it as I've ever been, but I don't really do it much anymore. Like, I used to talk, people, you're young, especially. This is just a lot of talking shit because nobody really knows what they're doing or what they're talking about.
Exactly.
By the time you start getting, like, I'd say into your 30s, especially your mid-30s, you ought to, like, have a better sense of, like, when it's appropriate.
Right, exactly.
Moment to talk shit, when it's not, being a little bit more intuitive as to, like, what you actually feel like you need to say or want to say or ought to say in a given moment. So, well,
that's the thing about, I can still talk shit when I'm amongst friends, but when I'm having to fill up this space before people jump into this little live talk, I'm like, ooh, what do I say? And then I just start saying the same shit all over again. But for me, the reason why I wanted you as a guest is when we met last year, I was just saying that in the little introduction before you got in here, is I fell into a moment in your life where you had a lot of personal epiphanies. You had that time in your life where you just realized certain things. And when we sat down at that spot in LA, that's what you were talking about. And it was very positive. It was very, you were very vulnerable. I hadn't seen you or met you from a hole in the wall, and you were just 100% you. Yeah.
Right. Well, we met through Lou, so it's not like we just
Lou.
bumped into each other. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't really know Lou but so well. Like, we have a lot of mutual friends. We went to the same college, but it's not like we were best friends during school.
Right.
We just kind of reconnected out here. But yeah, no, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, so when we met, it wasn't a superficial, hey, who are you? I'm such and such.
I don't do that.
No, but especially in that time in your life, because you had those realizations about what you wanted to do as a person and how you wanted to live your life and how to experience joy every day. It just stuck with me because that was a very intense and real first meeting I ever had with anyone. And so you always struck me as a very enlightened and intelligent person, which you tell through your stories and through your film and stuff. But I feel like, you're talking about, I want to listen because that's how I learn. But you have to, at some point, well, you don't have to do anything, but it would be great if you also give that knowledge that you do up by listening back to people that need to hear all of that, because you soak it up, and then it's basically your duty as a human being to spread that same knowledge. And that's what makes
I've realized that, I was always thinking that, the work that I was going to do, the things that I had to say were going to come through the method of communication in which you're making a movie or a television show or whatever. But I realized over time that, well, first of all, content, not even content or just communication, but just information.
Right.
Information can be shared with human beings in a more diversified way than ever.
Yes.
Yes. There's just so many ways to share information. I'm not even going to try to list them all. But broadly speaking, we'll say film, television, internet.
Right.
We'll just say that, right?
Right.
And all the levels that come with internet.
There's
so many levels to internet.
All the platforms.
I couldn't name all the ways that you can share information on the internet.
You probably don't even know all of them. All.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know them all, and I don't presume to, right? So with that said, I've been focused on, because wait, was that last year that we met?
It was last year, last summer, yeah.
Yeah, last year was the hardest year of my life.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you were very vulnerable in that conversation.
From going through that experience, which I'll talk about in a second, but vulnerability is something that I put first in my life. So there's a affirmation that there's several affirmations that I say to myself frequently. There's 3 that I make sure that I say every day, aside from meditating and praying. The first affirmation is called a complete life.
Yes.
Love fully, flow into your calling, work hard, build community, create value, have some motherfucking fun.
Very important, yeah.
The other one is called Arrival. I actually have it hanging on my wall over here. If I could take the camera down real fast, I would show you, but it's my path, my purpose, my destiny, all is aligned. Nothing will keep me from my design. I have arrived. I am divine. And I say this all in front of Frida. She's always watching me in the back. And then
yeah.
The last one is an illuminated life. Complete presence, infinite vulnerability, ultimate expression, eternal gratitude. That's an illuminated life.
Yes.
From my perspective.
Yes.
Lou is your adopted cousin. That doesn't even mean it. Margaret, say hello to Pay. Pay works with Lou. She's his manager. So I guess that's your adopted cousin manager.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, very good. Hey, so we're six degrees of separation becomes 2.
See, he went to Hampton with us, so he was just messing around with my adopted cousin. We always talk about each other as big brother, big sister, da da da. It's like family.
Right. It is like that. Lou became family to me, so yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of uncommon the way that historically Black colleges work here in the United States. There's just this sense of, you all are not related at all, but there's just this sense of family and tradition that just kind of comes with going to one of those schools.
Right.
At any rate, but yeah, last year was one of the hardest years of my life because I didn't know this at the time, and I didn't even know this when I met you, I don't think, that I had been battling the symptoms of bipolar disorder for like the last decade.
Wow.
Over a decade, probably. And I got like officially, finally, firmly diagnosed right before the pandemic hit the United States.
Oh, wow. No, I did not know that. I did not know
now
that.
You know.
But you did not
this
come
is something
across
that I'm going to be talking
to
about. Huh?
You did not come across bipolar to me.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people don't even understand what bipolar really means, which is another longer discussion. But the short version of it is that everybody has highs and lows.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody. That's just a part of the human experience. That's human consciousness. That is the journey of life. Yeah. You're never just going to be at the same level all the time. You'd actually be worried about somebody that was just in the same mood all the time.
Or they're on pills.
You're like, wait a minute, are you catatonic? You probably got some serious psychological issues going on. So there's ups and downs, right? There's waves, there's frequencies, there's vibrations. And the question is how high do you fly? How low do you go? And then it's a question not whether or not you're getting stuck in one place or the other.
Right.
Right? Or whether or not you're rapidly going back and forth between extremes. And that's what people with bipolar disorder do. I have bipolar disorder. And I have a particular type of bipolar disorder.
Right.
So most people think of bipolar disorder, if they don't know anybody that has it or their broad conceptions of what it is, what it means, a lot of times the only person that people know that has bipolar disorder is Kanye. Because he's come out publicly and said that he's bipolar and taking drugs and all that.
Right.
He's bipolar 1.
Yeah, there's the different levels, yeah.
Bipolar 1 means that his highs, his manic states are very extreme. He can exhibit all kinds of reckless behavior that can endanger himself and others, even be delusional or have hallucinations and be hospitalized, which he was. Right. Because they gave him the wrong medication. The wrong medicine,
yeah.
They gave him antidepressants and he's bipolar, so that doesn't make your bipolar symptoms worse. And then, from that high, you also can be very depressed and crash and be low, which is why, people talk about Kanye never smiles. Well, he might be depressed in those moments, right? He's not manic, right? And you go back and forth and it's hard to settle in the middle.
Yeah.
But I have bipolar 2.
Okay.
Which I say is like light-skinned Kanye. Diet Kanye.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
It's just a funny joke. So I'm doing comedy now too. So that's part of my
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for like a year. I'm actually getting to the point now where I actually admit that I'm a comedian because I don't suck anymore. But anyway, so my highs are not a threat. They're not.
They're not as extreme as Kanye. Yeah.
Not at all. Like if I read the symptoms of what it's called hypomania state, it's like I'm very creative. I'm very attentive.
Yeah.
I feel very present. You know, I feel like I'm bursting with energy. My libido is strong. Like everything's positive. Yeah. And I like to have fun. Like everything's positive, but it's not extreme. Yeah, sometimes I might spend too much money on something that I don't need, or you know. But like, I'm not doing any like behavior that is like just ruining anybody's life or really fucking with them. But the issue with me is that when you hit the lows, when you crash, the depression is very hard. It's very deep. It can last for a long time. And the thing is that I never know when it's coming or going.
If I may interject here, since we're talking about personality disorders, because that's what it's labeled as, I have been diagnosed with borderline about 15 years ago. And I was seeing a therapist because I was, you know, having a lot of shit going on in my life. Also another story. But I decided to go see a therapist. And after a few sessions, she diagnosed me with borderline. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold up. Because I knew a couple of people that had borderline. And they were cutting themselves and, you know, they could work. And I was looking at it like, I don't have that because I'm still functioning in the world. And
so, it's a spectrum.
Right. So when I looked it up, I had all the symptoms. I checked all the boxes. Like I couldn't even lie and sit there and try to excuse it away. I was like, that's me. But I didn't have the extreme version. But you know, I had it all. But most of those things are in today's society regular symptoms you know, of people dealing with how society is, the fast-paced, you know, industry, having to deal with emotions, having to deal with quick responses to social media messages. You know, it's now becoming a normal. And so at first I was, you know, crying, oh, they just told me I'm crazy. And then I sat down, I was like, well, now I have an excuse to be crazy. But then I also had a challenge because it said somewhere on Wiki or whatever website I was on that if you didn't deal with it before you're 30, then you would suffer from it all your life. And I was like, challenge accepted. Now, there's a lot of people that will watch this that probably wouldn't know this about me, although I have written articles about it, about, you know, opening up about my life, not just my physical diseases or illnesses, but also my mental illness. And so I'm just like, I'm not ashamed of that because I'm me. I'm great. And everybody deals with issues. And the fact that you are able to address your issues and work on it says so much about a person. Like when we talk about vulnerability. Yeah, I'm gonna share the whole journey. It's a longer story, but like it's a pretty incredible narrative. You know, I just started going to therapy in August, and I mean, and again, like where you're at on the spectrum of borderline personality disorder, or where I'm at on the spectrum of bipolar, we're all on the spectrum for something, right? And that's the thing is like bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder, they were not invented by some white man in a lab coat in the 19th century. Right. It was just literally all they're doing is giving a name to a pattern and cycle of behavior. Yes. And literally, that's all I've been talking about with people recently, because it wasn't about the name of the thing that was impacting my behavior. I mean, I do have chemical imbalances and shit like that, but we all have shit. We all have that, bodies, right? I also don't have any hair. What do you want from me? On my head. I have it here. Right. It migrated from the top of my head to my face, unfortunately. But we're also a product of our environment. So everybody deals with things. Yeah. Right. But what I was going to get to was that saying that, like, it wasn't invented by some scientist or some psychiatrist.
we're talking about descriptions of the human condition.
Yeah.
And we all have patterns and cycles of behavior, right, that are helping us become the best version of ourselves.
Yes.
And we have patterns and cycles of behavior that are pulling us away from that, that place. And we have to be very honest with ourselves.
Yes.
Identifying which patterns and cycles of behavior and which habits are helping us and which are hurting us.
Right. And that is, and it just to jump into the whole subject of this series that I'm doing, it is something that I have said during a couple of these talks. This is actually the time to sit down and take a good look at your life and figure out what's good in my life right now and what's not good. And if it's not good, change it. And what I've also noticed is that the most of the people that I know, I'm not saying everybody, but most of the people that I know that are having a hard time with being isolated are also the people that are not comfortable being alone and being confronted with themselves. Because
you have to look in the mirror.
Yes, you have to think you have to sit with your own thoughts. And
some people,
I'm very
you know how
some
people can stare in a mirror right into their own eyes. They can look the bull in the eyes, and then some people can look right there and say like, hey, you know, I'm gonna, even if you don't know what to change, even if you're not sure, just try things, right? Yeah. But some people, they can't do that. They have to look away. They have to like keep themselves busy with other things.
Yes. And they don't have as many options, like party all the time and hang out with friends and just never being home, always being out. I love being by myself, and I was forced to do that when I was going through my 20s. I call it my roaring 20s because they were just roaring. And so I was always by myself. I had no support system. I had to deal with shit. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm home. Sure. I want to go outside, but I have so many things going on in my head creatively that I have no time to sit and be depressed. Also, I've done that. I don't have to do that anymore. And I choose not to. I have bad days, but then I just decide to just, lay in the bed and watch shows or do what I like to do, Right. So
and
back
we all
again
need
into
time.
going,
We also all need time. Like, so I didn't just jump into that space this time. I was like, for like a week, I wasn't depressed, but I wasn't sure what to do.
Right, but nobody did.
And I had to really kind of reconceptualize what was most, like, again, like, first of all, everybody hasn't acknowledged yet that the world that we lived in before, the society that we lived in before, is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
And it's never going to come back and be the same.
It's not.
I don't know the next time I'll be able to shake your hand, dap up my homies, or give them a hug.
Right.
I can't go out to a bar and party and drink and make out with a girl that I don't know. The next time they're going to put 30,000 people in the Staples Center to watch LeBron James play, it's not going to be this year. Maybe next. Maybe,
yeah. Everything is uncertain at this time. You can't plan anything, which is the greatest motivation, in my opinion, to literally seize the day. We all say it, seize the day and do what you want and live like there's no tomorrow, but we really don't know if there's tomorrow. Tomorrow, everybody can be dead. I'm just saying. I don't want to be negative, but if you truly live your life happy every day, or as happy as you can be, and I'm not saying you can't be depressed and you can't have a bad day or you can't complain, because I've been complaining about my neighbors throwing parties and stuff, but I'm saying if you know for yourself that you're doing the best thing you can do for you, then that's good. Then that's
all
good
you're
enough.
So like people lose sight. So this is what is really happening right now.
Yes.
For the people that don't really, everybody knows this, but we lose sight of it. Yeah. This is all a spiritual experience.
Yes, I agree.
That's all it's ever going to be. This earthly realm is a physical manifestation of a spiritual experience. That's all it is, and that's all it's ever going to be. But there's so much activity. There's so many things going on. There's so much chaos. There's so many distractions. There's so much capitalism, whatever. It's all about producing and results and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It get you up in the morning and you start going through actions, but you're not even necessarily thinking about why, other than the end result of some physical, tangible thing.
Exactly.
And really, at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about how you feel.
Yes.
How present you are. Whether or not you're connected to God or the universe or your ancestors or whatever you believe in. or whatever you don't
Yeah.
believe in.
Yeah.
So hopefully, even if you don't believe in God and you're an atheist or whatever, you believe in something.
Something, or yourself at least. Yeah.
Or yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to ask, and if that's the case, it's all about yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Your inner self. And asking yourself what's really most important to you, I did a whole post this morning, because the thing is that, like, we can sit here and say, like, oh, this is the time to, really settle in and work on yourself and focus on what's most important, blah, blah, blah. But some people, again, they struggle with that process.
Yeah.
And they literally need direction. Hold on, I'm adjusting this back to
well, that's what this talk is for as well. Some people need that extra information, the extra motivation.
Well, I'm gonna actually pull up what I wrote this morning after I got up. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to adjust this this stand.
Hey, Frida.
Hey, Frida.
Hey, Frida.
Her eyes follow me everywhere I go in here.
Back again. I got Dayla follows me.
But I mostly like it. All right, so here we go. This is what I wrote this morning. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing necessarily, but at least what I feel like are the most important excerpts. Yeah. So I did a live show last night. We called it Freaky Fridays at Club COVID, because we can't go to the club on Friday anymore. Yeah, but it wasn't really like a party. We were just talking and playing some music and shooting the shit. But inevitably, as much as we tried to joke around and stuff, the tone would get serious again. Yeah. Because of so much that's going on. Like, this is the first time in my life, in my mom's life, and most of the people that I know's life, unless they were alive during the Spanish flu,
right,
where everybody in the world has the same situation. Not just situation, but the same objective, same enemy.
Yeah.
Like, we all want to beat COVID-19.
Yes.
It's almost like Independence Day, where there's aliens coming or something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, humanity unites to kill the aliens. Because mostly we're just, fighting each other over stupid shit.
And now we're fighting the same fight. Yeah.
Fighting the same fight, right? So, this is what I wrote. Whether we are ready to accept our new reality or not, the COVID-19 pandemic is forcing us to slow down, take pause, and isolate ourselves from each other. It is also affording us an opportunity to focus on our spiritual growth. Be present. Understand with each breath you take, you are harnessing the infinite life force of the universe so that you may exist with the divine. Reset your spirit. Check in with yourself to see how you are feeling. Check in with your loved ones to see how they are feeling.
Yes.
Focus on what's most important to you in your life. Focus on what you want the most right now. Focus on what you want the most in the future. Make a commitment to choose those habits, patterns, and cycles of behavior that will produce the requisite actions necessary for your dreams, visions, and intentions to come alive. Listen to the universe. Listen to the Creator. Listen to your ancestors. Listen to your God. Listen to the divine within. Submit to the divine unknown. This is the time for you to break down all your walls and embody an existence in which you are fully alive. And then there was a passage from Isaiah chapter 26, 20 to 21 that somebody brought up in this live stream last night. I didn't know about it. And I'm not a practicing Christian. I grew up in a Christian church, but I read all kinds of religious and spiritual texts. So I try to pull wisdom and knowledge from them. So this is Isaiah chapter 26, verses 20 and 21. Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you. Hide yourselves for a little while until this wrath has passed by. See, the Lord is coming out of his dwelling to punish the people of the earth for their sins. The earth will disclose the blood shed on it. The earth will conceal its slain no longer. Whoa.
Relevance. Hello.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right? Then there was a question. What will you do while you are shut in your room when you have nothing to do but face your own destiny? Then there was a very famous quote that you've probably heard before from Howard Thurman. Howard Thurman was Martin Luther King's mentor. Martin Luther King carried Howard Thurman's book with him throughout the civil rights movement. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And we need everyone to be fully alive right now.
Yeah. And so when or if people do this, if people take the time out to grow spiritually, as I like to call it, become better people in general, you know, and it's no levels to that. If you're a better person tomorrow than you were yesterday, then you've already done a good job. My thing is, when this is all over, in however long time that is, how long does it take before people fall back into their old habits? How will we uphold the new world to a better standard as human beings? And do we hold each other accountable when they fall back?
You said that. So personally, on a personal level, the most important thing to me in my relationships with my loved ones, my friends, the people I work with, are two things: transparency and accountability.
Yes.
Transparency and accountability. Those two things. And there's a lot of people in the world that have serious accountability issues.
Yes.
To themselves,
yeah,
their loved ones, and a whole lot of other people.
Yeah.
And, you know, living in America, which is a country that was formed through brutal violence and colonialism, I will say that historically speaking, at least within the last 300, 400 years, Caucasians, white people, they've been like the Michael Jordan of having serious accountability issues to this day.
Yeah, I mean,
you look at somebody like Donald Trump.
I live in the Netherlands.
He's just a shitbag of accountability issues.
Yeah.
Refuses to be accountable for his own stuff, his own shit.
And then half of the country voted for him. So those are the same people that have
accountability issues.
Yes.
And people, they're still so the thing is, whether it's white people or not, and I'm not talking about all white people, because I have plenty of white friends that are great and all that. I'm talking about people that are just like I said they're intolerably white.
Right.
You know? First of all, this whole thing of even talking about the ethnicity or the skin tone of people is just it's a ridiculous conversation in the first place.
Thank you.
Right? We have different cultural traditions. We have different skin tones and facial features and whatnot. But what does that really mean? Not much.
Nothing. Because COVID-19 doesn't discriminate either.
No, it doesn't.
And so, there are people
that the people that have these accountability issues, it's funny, it's people that often are they're so lost in their own in the lie of whiteness and superiority of one human being over another. They're just in the rabbit hole. Well, and it's like there's people that are like white people that are like poorer than me, way poorer than me, broke, don't have shit.
Yeah.
But you talk to them and they'll be racist. And they're like, then you realize, wow, okay, in this scenario, literally they're holding on to their whiteness because it's the only thing they have. It gets deep.
I live in the Netherlands, one of the biggest colonizers in the world historically.
Right.
What we have come to find out, and again, this is just a general observation based off of historical experiences and situations. There's a certain entitlement instilled in the DNA of white Dutch people. This generation now, 20, 30 years, have that without even knowing that they have it. It is literally instilled in their DNA, which is why we in the Netherlands are also dealing with, no recognition, pages in the history books being removed or not having ever existed, no apologies for genocides that happened in the colonies, all of that. So aside from all of that, accountability goes for everyone, regardless color, skin color, race, whatever. And I see enough people that are of color that don't have accountability either, or have issues with that. That's just my question. Like, how are we going to do that? Because now we're all, you know, singing Kumbaya together, and we're all wanting to do better. But we all know also from experience, history repeats itself. Once we're back on track, everybody forgets about it. Just like all the flags on Facebook for all the bombings that happened, the next thing happens and we all forgot about whatever is still going on. There are still people suffering in Puerto Rico from the disasters and hurricanes. There are still people rebuilding things from the tsunamis in Asia. That doesn't just disappear because the next disaster is happening. And those are things. This is a worldwide disaster. This will not be forgotten, but the way we deal with it and the way we have to respond to it for the future is what we have to, you know, keep going and keep, you know, being alive. We have to keep that whole idea alive, or we will not be a better world. Like you said, the world as we know it is gone. It's going to change, but also we have to do different. This wasn't working. But I know that Instagram cuts us off after an hour. I do want to get a little more deeper into the impact.
Wait. You can't bring all that up and then not let me say anything.
Okay, sorry. Respond.
Well, I think that is a good question. And it doesn't, none of this means anything unless we do raise our consciousness.
Exactly. You know? That's it. Yes.
And elevate the frequency and the vibration of our consciousness.
Yes.
You know? And Donald, so here's a good example. Donald Trump. Enough said. Like, just, I'm not going to go into the details of what the clusterfuck of his, he's just a petulant child. He's a petulant child who gets his way.
Yes.
Donald Trump is not the problem. It's the people around him.
Thank you. I've been saying that
are not holding him accountable to our nation.
And the people that voted for him.
All of them.
All of them.
Serious accountability issues. And guess what? We can't make people be accountable to themselves.
No.
We have to use our own accountability to motherfucking stop them by any means necessary if they're going to harm us.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to yourself, but you're not going to do that to me. That's what we have to do.
And this, honestly, is why I'm happy I don't live in America at this point. I'm sorry, but I honestly
I'm glad I live in California because we're our own nation state, basically.
That's true, but I literally seriously feel terrible for all my family and friends that are dealing with these insane measures that are taken in this type of, you know, danger, because you can literally die. So,
but you know, it's all relative. It's all relative because I'm looking at people that live in dictatorships and that, you know, are suffering so much on a daily basis. It's all relative. But yeah, I mean, the thing is what's so frustrating about America, because we still believe that there's so much potential to actually build a society where everybody has everything that they need, a lot of the things that they want, and we all can just live in equity. That's the dream, right? At the end of the day, like, I was raised by people that are American because these are my ancestors that were brought over here as slaves. But after a certain number of generations, you're not even connected to that motherland anymore in terms of like your physical presence. It's in your DNA. It's in your blood. It's in a lot of your traditions. But we've been here for so long that we're just as American as anybody else, right? Right. These Americans, these Black Americans, raised me perfectly. And all they ever wanted was to see their loved ones thrive,
right,
live their best life. They just
yeah.
want to see everybody thrive and live their best life. At the end of the day, we all really pretty much want the same thing in
we
life.
do.
Whether or not we're actually helping ourselves in that process or not, all we really want is to live with joy. Everybody wants joy. Even
Yeah.
Donald Trump wants joy.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to find it. Maybe his joy is making other people suffer. Maybe his joy is just boosting up his own ego. He may have already
found it in his presidency.
No, his joy, I'd say, is pretty much making sure that he constantly inflates his own ego.
Right.
He's a narcissist. It just is what it is, right? That's his joy, right? But at the end of the day, we all want joy, however we define it. Right? We all want joy. And really, we all want to be the best version of ourselves, our highest self. Even if we have a warped perception of what that ought to be, we still want it. Everybody wants to be their best.
Yeah. No, you're right, but
Hitler wanted to be the best friggin', mass murderer and leader of all time, and he was that.
I'm gonna agree with you, but I have met some people that don't necessarily want to be the best version of themselves, but already think that they are, even though I see so much more potential.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It can get very warped.
Yeah, that's why I agree. That's why I say
whereas like objectively, you would look at them and be like,
nah,
okay,
man, that ain't it.
Okay.
And those are the people that I actually cut off, because if you don't always want to become a better person every day, if you are not still learning and working on your issues, if you're okay with the issues that you have and just be like, I'm not going to work on them, this is just me, I cannot fuck with you. I'm sorry.
Word.
I cannot, because it affects me and my progress. And that is something
I don't even hear you curse that much, but you dropped that F-bomb strong.
That means I'm serious.
Hey, I ain't got no problem with curse words. I curse all the time. I love curse words. They're highly effective.
I curse to put an effect on it.
Emphasize the point. Express emotion.
Yes.
Using curse words the right way. Now, I'm not telling you
to
use the word fuck in every sentence. I can use.
It loses value.
I can use an F-bomb 8 times in a sentence, literally. Damn near.
But then you can't use it to emphasize shit anymore.
But no. But I do. No, like if you hear me do that, you know that I am very, very, very.
I believe you.
I'm bipolar.
It's the way you do it.
I'm bipolar. I've been going from like very, very like.
No, don't use that as an excuse now. That's just you doing.
Oh yeah, I'm using it as an excuse for everything. Not showing up to shit. Not doing shit. I'm sorry. I'm bipolar. Clinically diagnosed. Sorry.
You were like, I don't know. I don't feel it coming, but that's you, premeditated, knowing exactly what you're doing. I already know. Okay, we have 12 minutes left, and as much as I enjoy our conversation, I could talk to you for like 5 more hours on this. Okay. I do want to jump into the creative part and your role in, your job or whatever your passion, what you're doing. I want to know what the biggest impact was of the shutdown of this entertainment industry, the film TV industry. What was the biggest impact for you, and how are you handling that?
Well, I mean, as you know, Hollywood shut down. Nobody's really making deals because nobody knows what's going to happen yet. Next, there's no shoots. There's no pay. All the ways that I would make money as a writer, director, producer, comedian, etc. Done. Yeah. Unless you've already built your own thing, like a YouTube channel, or that's the only way. Right. And most of my friends are in the same boat. Now, some people have 9-to-5 jobs. They work for a studio. They work for a company. They work for a producer, whatever. That's a different situation. I run my own company. I'm an independent contractor. So right now, I'm actually going through the process of figuring out how to adjust and flow. Right. So I'm doing a lot of live videos. I'm going to start vlogging soon. We're starting a new YouTube channel. We're coming up with formats that we can do strictly digitally and start building an audience, which I plan to do anyway, but now I have the time. Yeah. So, that's what a lot of people say. I can find other ways to make money. There's always a way to make money.
Right.
And the thing is that everybody's in the same boat. It's not just the entertainment business. It's the restaurant business. There's so many, like, people are just, this is we're going to end up with the highest unemployment numbers in the history of the country.
Yeah.
And people are acting like, oh, you know, experts are predicting that the unemployment rate will rise to 20%. I'm like, 20% is just a sliver of what this is going to be.
Right.
You know, because I know for a fact, at least here in California, we're not going to get out of quarantine probably until at the earliest mid-June, probably July, because they're not going to call off the quarantine I know they're not going to send the children back to school for the rest of the school year.
Right. Same over
June.
here. Yeah.
So you're not going to open back up the quarantine, then have all these parents trying to figure out a way to make a living again, get a job, whatever, and the kids are sitting at home. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So it's going to go until then. So, you know, you got to be resourceful. Luckily, I had enough money saved up for work that I did last year, you know, that I'm okay, you know, for the next few months. And I keep my expenses really low.
That's good.
Living under your means, I got a very affordable apartment in the middle of LA. I made sure to pay off my car at the end of last year.
Right.
God bless Jamel Hill. God bless Spotify. I did the podcast with them. They ended up reformatting it, so I didn't even finish the season, but I got paid, and like I'm living off that money now.
That's good. So were there any important projects for you that you were working on that you had to shut down, or are there projects that you're still working on?
Yes. They're not. They're on hiatus, not shut down.
Right.
They're on pause. There's a movie that I've been working on for a decade. A script. It's a movie that it's going to come to fruition. That is just a script right now, but we have talent involved. John Legend's an executive producer. Wendell Pierce, Carmen Ejogo. Wendell Pierce, Carmen Ejogo, who was in True Detective with Mahershala Ali.
I love her.
Yeah, she played Coretta Scott King in Selma.
I just saw her in 2 movies on Netflix.
She's busy. She just shot another television show in Louisiana. I can't remember the name of it right now. So she's always working. I mean, she did a movie with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that's the one. That's Roman.
She's killing it. You know, she started really doing more stuff later in her career because she had kids, and she was married and, you know, raising kids. She was married to Jeffrey Wright. Though. Oh yeah.
There's no age.
Her first big role was a long time ago. She did a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, when she was like 22, 23 years old.
Which movie was that?
She started having kids. She had a family when she had like 3 kids. So she was focused on raising them. And then now that the kids are older, you know, they're all teenagers or older. Yeah. She can do whatever she wants to do. Yeah. She doesn't have to be at home.
But that's my point. Like, in this industry or any industry, age is not a limit. That's society telling you that you have to do things before 30 or you have to have this or that. But there's
that's
so
a lie.
many,
time has its own time.
Yeah. And everybody has their own plan in life. Like I'm 41. I turned 42. And I'm still figuring out what I love to do, and I'm still shifting, making sure that I do what my purpose is. So I'm not worried about society telling me, why don't you have a husband? Why don't you have kids? Why don't you have a career? Because obviously it wasn't God's plan to have all of that at this age. So I'm just doing what I need to do. And I'm happy. I worked out my issues.
But to answer your question, so I've been working on that movie. We had just sat down with some financiers that finance projects that are usually around $5 million. Our budget is right at that number, and they love the script. And we were supposed to be going through the process of trying to figure out how we can make this movie happen for real.
Right.
And they were actually a week into production on another movie, the other movie they were shooting this year, and then they got shut down because of the quarantine.
Yeah.
So all that stuff's on pause. And we don't even really know for independent films, for instance, we don't even know what the theatrical market's going to be for these projects moving forward.
Nobody knows.
Because when a movie theater's opening back up, everything's just VOD and straight to streaming and stuff like right now.
Right, that's what I was thinking of.
And so there's a lot of, like, nobody knows. Again, like you said, what's happening right now is that COVID has put us in a space where we are smack dab in the middle of the complete unknown.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know what's happening next. And that's the ultimate test.
Yeah.
That is always the ultimate test for any living human being.
Yeah.
to be immersed in the complete unknown and still be present and have the discipline and the resolve to know that you still continue to exist as you are meant to exist in your purpose and your destiny.
Right.
Despite the fact that you have no clue what's happening next. Because in reality, whether we actually think about it moment to moment or not, we never know what's happening next. Because you could just be walking down the street and, you know,
you could
like
get hit by
debris
a car
from a construction site, falls and you're gone.
Yeah. And
I learned that lesson. I learned that lesson at 22 years old.
Well, see, and I was going to tell you, I was talking about that to people. I've had some situations in my life where I've literally I didn't know what my future was. So I've been dealing with these type of situations all my life. So for me, this is fine. I know how to handle this. And you could say, unfortunately, I had all these experiences, but because of these experiences, I have the experience to deal with this. So I guess that's a fortunate thing.
Yeah, I mean, so here's a story, and I don't know how much time do we have left?
About 4 minutes.
Okay, real quick. Also, if you post this to your story, can you save it and send it to me? Because this has been great, and you need to keep doing this.
I put them on my IGTV, so
okay,
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
So I met a young woman, and I don't know if you believe in astrology or not, but it's related to that. She was a waitress at a restaurant. I was going to meet a producer who was looking for financing for the same movie, After the Storm, that I mentioned. Loves the script. And we were having a good time, and this waitress came over, and she said, "Hey, guys, are you doing okay?" Now, this was a different waitress than the woman that was already waiting on us. And I was like, "Oh, did the other waitress go home?" She said, No. She's on break. I'm just checking to make sure you guys are okay." And I looked at her, but she didn't look like a waitress to me. The way she stood, the way she postured, the way she was dressed, I was just like, "Are you the manager? Are you an owner?" And she was like, "Oh, no, I'm just a waitress." She's like, "The manager's the fat guy over there." And he was fat. And and I was like, "Okay, well, I know that you might be working here and that you use this money to pay your bills, but I feel like there's something creatively or as an artist that you do that is unrelated to here." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm an astrologist." This is Lauren. I think her IG is Astro Betch or something, but she's 27 years old, white woman. And I was like, "Well, how long have you been doing astrology?" She said, "Since I was 12 years old."
Oh, wow.
So this is a gift.
Yeah.
It was given to her, whether she had a choice, and she chose to embrace it. And she said, "Do you know what's happening in the year 2020? I was like, "Chaos." And this is January 15th, mind you.
Okay.
And she said, "Well, yeah, there's a reason for that." She said, "This is the first time in 36 years that Saturn has been in direct alignment with Pluto."
Oh, we have 2 minutes remaining.
That only happens every 35 to 40 years. She said Saturn represents structure, order, government, law, like all these things that are supposed to make sense to the world, provide enlightenment. Pluto represents complete unknown, right? Complete chaos, the lack of structure and order, right? All of the opposite things.
Right.
They are in direct conflict with each other. They aligned on January 12th, but we're feeling the ramifications.
No, yeah.
We're going to continue to feel the ramifications.
Yeah, until
it's
that
get worse,
shit.
until it gets better. But that's what we're feeling, and that's what we're experiencing. And she said that in order to thrive in this time, you're going to have to be able to exist within the complete unknown.
Well, we are.
And still know exactly who you need to be.
Right. Well, that kind of confirms what we were just talking about.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting because I never had a talk literally till the hour, but I'm getting a countdown from.
Yeah, no, log off. I've done it too. Yeah, you got to do it.
It's fine. I do want to
make sure you get off before, because it'll close and it won't let you save. So log off.
Right. So thank you for letting us know your thoughts, your feedback, your way of handling this, your inspiration, motivation. Wolf Wiles on Instagram. Thank you, Mr. Cole Wiley. I will be in touch. We'll definitely check in.
Love
and
you.
Yeah.
Log
Be
off, girl,
safe.
because that counter lies sometimes. It cut me off early. So when it gets to a minute, you got to be
Be
like,
safe. Bye.
It cut me at 30 seconds. All right, bye.
4, 3, 2, 1. Peace, everyone.